Shalom. I'm here today with Maggie Odell, rabbinical student from the Jewish Theological Seminary. We're going to talk a little bit about Tisha B'Av as this coming Shabbat. Shabbat Devarim is also Shabbat Chazon, the Shabbat before Tisha B'Av. And was wondering if you could share with us some of your thoughts about the importance of Tisha B'Av. Perhaps share with us a little bit of information, background on the importance of the fast and some of the observances that we'll be observing.
Sure. Well, Tisha B'Av is the only other 25-hour fast, a full fast day, besides Yom Kippur. But the reasons for it are considerably different. So Yom Kippur obviously is a biblically ordained holiday, the Day of Atonement. We're all very familiar with Yom Kippur. And Tisha B'Av has many of the same restrictions. It's the same: no eating or drinking, no marital relations, no wearing leather, no bathing, no anointing oneself, which usually means oils or cosmetics, perfumes, that kind of thing. But the reasons are different. It's not biblically ordained because it commemorates the destruction of both of the temples, or the tradition is that each one of them was destroyed on Tisha B'Av. And there are various other tragedies throughout Jewish history that are said to have fallen on Tisha B'Av, notably the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, the Reconquista.
So if you're talking about the only other 25-hour day fast in the Jewish calendar, you'd think that Tisha B'Av would be fairly important. We've got a lot of minor fasts. How come on Yom Kippur we have thousands of people pouring into every synagogue around the world, and on Tisha B'Av,
not so much.
Not so much, other than the fact that it falls in the summer.
Right. So I really think that can't be underestimated. I think that the fact that it falls in the summer, that religious school is out, that a lot of people are on vacation, that's a significant factor. Also, unlike Yom Kippur, which has a lot of the holiday restrictions, all the same holiday restrictions, no cooking, no driving, no spending money, all of these things, Tisha B'Av does not have those restrictions. A lot of people don't go to work, but by that they just mean their job. You're still allowed to drive, to spend money, to all those kinds of things. So I think whereas with Yom Kippur, it's like, what else am I going to be doing because I can't do anything else? Tisha B'Av, theoretically, you can be going about and doing other things, even if you're still fasting. But I think that just as significantly, Tisha B'Av is a holiday that deals with our history as a people and our history as a nation. And I think that there are a lot of factors that make that a more difficult thing for a lot of Jews to deal with, especially in the modern era. I think that a lot of people have trouble viewing the Jews as a nation and as a people now. I know that when I was teaching 7th grade here at Anshe Emet, I had the hardest time trying to explain to my class full of 7th graders why we couldn't just look at Jews as being just more white people who go to synagogue instead of going to church. It was absolutely incomprehensible to them that Judaism was anything more than just a religion. So I think that's a significant part of it. I also think that
You're saying that peoplehood is no longer one of the main anchors for today's Jewish community, at least in the United States?
Yeah, I think that it varies, obviously, by region, by age group, whatever. But I think that for a lot of people, not least because the Jews, not only have we defined ourselves as a people and as a separate nation, but historically, so have all the other people around us. I mean, historically, Jews could not be citizens. Jews were always viewed as being aliens within the lands in which they lived. And now we have the freedom to just be, citizens of the United States who practice the religion of Judaism.
So what does that mean in terms of future connections to Jews around the world, to the state of Israel? If peoplehood is less compelling today than it was before, and in the past it was hard for many Jews to connect to the Jewish people.
I think that we have to turn increasingly to the things that unite us that are not by dint of happenstance. I think that many people are finding new meaning in spirituality. I think that many more people are finding greater connections to Judaism through social justice, through other sort of social action groups, through programs like Avodah and Adamah, and through year-long or shorter-term programs in Israel, connecting to the state of Israel and not just the people of Israel. I don't think that it's this hopeless situation, like Jewish peoplehood is something that's underground now and let's not think about it anymore. But I think that increasingly, because we have the opportunity to opt out of Judaism if we want to, those of us who opt into Judaism and who decide to take ownership of it feel an even greater connection to Judaism and to each other.
I'm sure there are people nodding their heads yes, and I'm sure that to what you're saying, I'm sure that there are people of an older generation who are very upset, maybe even threatened by what you're saying, because so much of the anchor for my generation, a generation older than my generation, was probably the people generation, the post 1948 generation that lived through the Holocaust and the establishment of the State of Israel, the Six-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, probably connected through the notion of the primacy of Jewish continuity, the idea that we are all one people, being central in the formation of their Jewish identity. And what I hear you saying is there are other important factors today, maybe more important factors today in the formation of the Jewish identity of a younger or different generation. And perhaps as we approach Tisha B'Av, we need to give some time to thinking about, as we review Jewish history, what will be the new anchors for a new generation and how the different generations will communicate with each other and figure out together how to create our new Jewish future. I want to wish everybody Shabbat Shalom and an easy fast on Tisha B'Av. Shalom.
Adonai Eloheinu